What's up, man? Happy Friday. It's Brian Bandas with The Married Man. Happy to be talking to you. Wanted to show you something. I don't know how well you'll be able to see this. Oh, it's showing up pretty good. This is a Ninja Turtle pumpkin. And this is actually a prized possession of mine. Wanted to tell you the story attached to this. It's a pretty personal story. My Ninja Turtle pumpkin. There's not even, look, he's got a yellow, there's not even a yellow turtle. So my Ninja Turtle pumpkin, here's the story. Several years ago, my oldest son, he was probably 5 at the time, 5 or 6, is acting like a 5 or 6 year old. And I felt like I overreacted, and was really coming down hard on him and probably yelling at him and that type of thing. And we're in his room, and I'm going to share the relevance in a second with you. But basically, as I'm yelling at him, I have this like epiphany, and it's that I realize, so I'm sitting there thinking, man, I'm overreacting. Like, I'm blowing it. I'm kind of being a jerk dad. I'm overreacting to my kid. And really, let's be honest, he's a 5-year-old, and yeah, his behavior's not okay, but he's acting like a 5-year-old. Like, this shouldn't be that unexpected. I'm like, why is this getting me so bad, right? Like, he got my goat with this. And here's what I realized, okay? My dad, and I love my dad. He'll probably watch this video. We're very close, thankfully. But my dad, our family fell apart, and my parents got a divorce, and the fallout from that was pretty ugly at times. And part of that fallout was that my dad ended up moving about an hour away from where we lived, and I just missed out on a lot of time with him. And I spent a long time feeling like my dad, had failed as a father. And I don't think that that's true across the board, but in some respects it's true. And so I went into marriage and fatherhood with this feeling of impending doom that, hey, in my DNA is I'm going to fail. It's only a matter of time, right? And that's where I come from. And so what happened was, when my kid was acting like a 5-year-old, even though he was 5, his bad behavior was basically affirming these lies in my mind. I had these lies and these fears that it's only a matter of time. I am, by default, I'm a failure. I'm going to lose. It's only a matter of time, and there's nothing I can do. And then his behavior is basically affirming that and going, see, look at your kid. You can't even, you can't get your 5-year-old under control. You're screwed. Like, it's over. You're a loser. Quit fighting it. And so I was taking those fears and those insecurities out on my son. And man, the second I realized that, it broke me. I mean, it crushed me. And I left his room, went to my room, and cried probably for 2 hours. I mean, it destroyed me, because I realized that this little 5-year-old boy was basically getting the wrath from the sins of my father. So he's already second generation. He's still having these mistakes visited onto him. The relevance, and so the picture is so precious. He knew I was in there upset, and he felt really bad. He thought that he had made me mad, so he drew me this picture. And my little 5-year-old comes walking in. I drew this for you to make me feel better. Which, shoot, man, I'll start tearing up right now if I keep talking about that. So the relevance is this. That is why we put the work in to figuring out our stuff, our freaking messed up stuff, because we have lies, we have hurts, we have pains, we have insecurities, we have traumas, we have all these things in our mind. And what happens is we can't help but take those things out on those closest to us. We take them out on our wife. If you have children, we take them out on our children, because they influence negatively the way that we interact with people, and we see other people and the way they act, and we hear the things they say through these lenses. And just like I saw his behavior through the lens of, I'm afraid that I am automatically going to be a failure. And then when I see this normal 5-year-old behavior, it's like, yep, see, failure. So I went through a painful and long healing process that I'm probably not through, probably not done, it's probably ongoing, to start to eradicate those lies, because they were causing me to have an inability to relate in a healthy way to my sons and to my wife. And that is why we as a group talk about stuff like healing, stuff like hurt, all these things that we spend time on, this mental and emotional and spiritual aspect. That's why. Because my son is worth that. My son does not deserve to receive the wrath and the consequences of my father's mistakes and my insecurity. That's why we work on this stuff. Thank you for listening. That's a really personal story. I'm sure that you probably have something similar in your life because we all carry around this residue, right? We all have it to some degree. So that is why it is worth the work to go out and to pursue emotional healing and emotional health. We do that as an act of love. We do that as a offering of our strength. I'm willing to go to my family and say, I care about you enough to humble myself and pursue this type of healing because I care enough about this family, about my marriage relationship, and about my relationship with my kids. I hope that resonates with you. It is okay to carry around that residue, but let's deal with it. Let's put the work in. We can talk next week about what are some practical ways to start putting that work in. See you guys.